Hi, I'm Amy Adeney and I'm a children's author. The most recent book is actually the book that I signed first, long ago, over 2 years ago, which is called Turning Cartwheels. It just came out last month in February. And it's a picture book that I wrote in 2017. So it's been a long journey to get to the point where I can actually hold it in my hands, which is very exciting. And it's for really slightly older than your average picture book, not really preschool. It's more for lower primary school, and it deals with playground social issues, girls, bullying, peer pressure, things like that. So before this came out, there were 6 other books that came out. And I think I'm the only author in maybe the world, I don't know, who's had 2 books in a series come out in the first lockdown last year in May. Tilda Teaches Cartwheels and Tilda Teaches Chatterboxes. The 3rd and 4th books in the series came out in the second lockdown. Tilda Teaches Animal Care and Tilda Teaches Mashups. And then just in time for the 5th and 6th books, we had a 5-day snap lockdown in which these 2 came out. So the last 2 most recent are Tilda Teaches Drawing and Tilda Teaches Francais. And as you can probably guess, they're about a girl who wants to be a teacher when she grows up. So she teaches all these different things to her friends. Early readers, so 5 to 8-year-olds, just kind of transitioning from picture books to independent chapter books. So I don't think I'm really the average answer to that from many interviews I've listened to is, you know, people who have been writing since they were kids and wrote stories in primary school. I'm not really a writer who writes because they love to write. I think I more write because I love to read. And I've always been a really avid reader. I always knew that I wanted to work with children, and I did grow up to eventually become a teacher. And I really loved incorporating books into my teaching. I just saw how engaged the kids were, how many conversations we could start with amazing books, and I actually taught that age level where where the kids are transitioning to early readers, and what a big step and an exciting step that was, which I think is what drew me to writing for that age. So it was really more about sharing my love of reading with kids and hoping to instill a love of reading in kids as well. I am actually studying writing at the moment, so I'm kind of a full-time writer and studier of writing. They're the 2 things that are taking up most of my time. I've gone back to uni this year to study professional writing and editing at RMIT. So that's taking up a fair bit of my time and not leaving as much time as I would like for my own writing, but they're the 2 things that are taking up most of my time at the moment. It was actually, nothing is as good for my writing as having a deadline, and since I had all these books on deadline and kind of staggered throughout the year, it did mean that I had to be quite consistent with my writing and fit it in between uni and homeschooling with my kids, and my husband was also at home homeschooling because he's a primary teacher as well. So having the deadlines basically meant that it had to happen, whether I had time for it or not, and it might mean late nights or early mornings, but deadlines really have a way of making things happen. I think I read more in 2020 than I've ever read before, and I wish I had kept a list of everything I read. It's that old saying, reading gives you somewhere to go when you have to stay where you are. So I read things really to take me away from where I was and very much take me into another world. So it was things like Karen Foxley's A Most Magical Girl, and Jessica Miller's books, The Republic of Birds and Elizabeth and Zenobia, and Kimberly Brubaker Bradley's The War That Saved My Life, and really things that just completely took me away from what we were experiencing while we were stuck at home. Lots of amazing middle grade, probably veering towards fantasy, a lot of it. Whoa, that's a tough question. My favourite picture book, which is probably still my favourite picture book today, I'd say, is The Giant Jam Sandwich. And it's just, I think it was re-released a couple of years ago, so it is still in print. I think just spot on rhyme. It still gives me a lot of joy to read it to myself or read it to an audience of kids. I think that is really as close to rhyme perfection as you can get. I've got a few things on the go looking for homes at the moment, a new junior fiction series that I'm very excited about that is currently out on submission, and a couple of new picture book projects and lots of uni work, but hopefully more of my own work. We'll see what comes next. No worries, that was fun. Thanks very much.